One of the first COVID-19 patients in our area has recovered after months in the hospital. Now, this Patton Village police officer is giving hope to other patients. Cutting it close. New guidelines released today for salons planning to reopen on Friday, but some owners say they may not be ready by then. And honoring Houston's healthcare heroes. A breathtaking salute from the Blue Angels to those on the front line of this pandemic. Hello, I'm Len Cannon. How about a dose of hope and healing right now? A Patton Village police officer was one of the first community-transmitted cases of coronavirus in the Houston area. He was hospitalized about a week after attending the rodeo barbecue cook-off. He spent weeks on a ventilator. Anayeli Ruiz talks to him about his road to recovery.
Meet Chris Hernandez, a police officer with the Patton Village Police Department. He's been an officer for more than 20 years, and in his career, he's been shot before. But he says that doesn't compare to what he endured at the hospital just a few weeks ago as his body was fighting COVID-19.
Or to, compare the two, I would rather be shot again than have to go through COVID. That's how bad it was. Yeah.
Officer Hernandez says he started with small pains, but after 2 trips to the doctor's office, it all quickly escalated and he knew he had to go to the hospital.
And I made it about halfway through the parking lot of the emergency room, and I had to stop and breathe again because I was basically suffocating, I guess you could put it. Felt like you were drowning.
Hernandez checked himself into Chi St. Luke's Hospital in the Woodlands. Little did he know he had COVID-19, and he was one of the first known community spread cases in our area. He was on a ventilator in critical condition.
Did I think that I could possibly die from it? Yes, I did,
And finally, after 2 weeks of being in the hospital, his body started fighting back, and he miraculously recovered. And now he says he's counting his blessings and is grateful to be alive.
I've beaten every odd out there on how sick I was, and I'm just very blessed. It's like the staff told me, it's a miracle, and I'm happy to be alive.
Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Shocking to hear him say he'd rather be shot than have to go through what he just went through, but we are glad the officer is okay tonight. All right, let's talk about the numbers that we have, the most recent numbers, and there's some good news here. Nearly a third of patients in the Houston area have recovered from COVID-19. The latest numbers show there are more than 11,000 cases across the Houston area. That's 220 more than yesterday. Sadly, 277 people have lost their lives. Working on the front lines of this pandemic is stressful. That's what a new survey from Rice University's COVID-19 registry found. 4,000 people across the area took part in the survey. About 23% said they have moderate to severe anxiety. And in that group, 22% are first responders or healthcare workers.
We consider our first responders and our health workers to be national heroes right now, and they absolutely are national heroes. But even amongst that group, the mental health impacts are significant.
Another takeaway from the survey, most people with COVID-19 symptoms have not been tested. Researchers say it shows the availability of testing in many communities remains an issue. We'll tell you how Beyonce is helping out with testing. That comes up a little bit later. Tonight, some businesses are scrambling to reopen on Friday. The entire salon industry was caught off guard yesterday after the governor announced they can reopen on Friday under new guidelines. Well, the new guidelines came out today. Janelle Bluta looks at how salons are preparing and the hurdles they're facing.
Some salons say they won't have enough time to be ready to open, but others say they've been preparing for this for weeks. Bella Renova Salon in River Oaks has installed a couple dozen shields like these. They've also ordered disposable supplies and face masks for their employees. The shields are not a requirement, but these are. Salons must have 6 feet of distance between workstations, employees must be screened before coming into work, and stylists should wear gloves when possible and use disposable supplies. If you're a customer, you may be asked to wear a face mask, wash or sanitize your hands upon entering the salon and after the payment process, and walk-in customers should wait in their car until called by the salon to come in.
Sanitation is not new to our industry. It's part of our licensing, and it's every 2 years a requirement to update. So I would say to my customers, we are probably one of the safest places, considering malls are open, restaurants, movie theaters, that they could go to.
Davis says they've already spent a couple $1,000s getting ready to reopen, but for the customer to feel comfortable, she says it's worth it. The governor has posted guidelines for all salons, hair, nails, tanning salons, and barber shops. You can find those on our website, KHOU.com. In Houston, I'm Janelle Bluda, KHOU 11 News.
To stay informed, besides the website, text Texas to 713-526-1111. We'll send you a link to the businesses that can reopen on Friday, as well as a look at the extra safety precautions they are taking. It's important to note, folks, the reopening is a recommendation, not a requirement, so you should call your salon ahead of time to see if they are, in fact, open. Help is coming for up to 13,000 Houston families that can't pay rent because of this outbreak. City Council approved a new rental assistance program today. Adam Bennett shows us how it works and how to apply.
Well, Len, this deal not only helps renters in apartments like these, but anyone with a lease. About half of people in Houston live in rental units, and the city's apartment association found that about 10% of tenants could not pay the rent last month. This morning, City Council unanimously voted to use $15 million from the CARES Act to fund the program. It's for low to moderate income renters who missed rent because of financial hardship related to COVID-19. That money covers up to around $1,000 a month for April, May, or both months. Mayor Sylvester Turner said he agrees with council members and renters who worry that $15 million won't come close to meeting that need.
It's my hope that Congress will have another stimulus package, CARES 2 or 3, that will be specifically designated for rental assistance across the country. There's a huge, huge need. And what we did was take some of the dollars and to utilize them to meet the needs of some of the people.
To get the money, landlords must waive any late fees, interest, or penalties from those 2 months and stop any prior eviction proceedings. They'll get to apply first through the website HoustonRentAssistance.org. That site goes live tomorrow morning at 10. And they'll be chosen on a first-come, first-served basis. Renters can start applying on May the 13th. And Baker Ripley will run that program, and they'll be reporting back demographics to the city so they can see exactly who's benefiting. Len?
Thank you, Adam. Tonight, the Verify team is looking into home treatments and claims you may have seen circulating online. Here's investigative reporter Cheryl Mercedes.
Someone asked the Verify team, what if I'm taking Plaquenil for lupus? Can that protect me from getting COVID-19 since it's being used to treat it? That is false. The CDC is adamant there are no drugs or therapies approved by the FDA that can prevent or treat COVID-19. And the Lupus Foundation echoes that message. Someone else asked the Verify team, what if I'm over the age of 65 and have mental health issues and do not feel safe returning to work? Can I still collect unemployment benefits? Well, that depends. The Texas Workforce Commission has updated its guidelines, and they say those decisions will be made on a case-by-case basis. And finally, someone asked us, is inhaling eucalyptus and steam a remedy for COVID-19? That is false. While it can help loosen mucus when you have a cold, the CDC says there's no proof that this will work on COVID-19. Back to you.
All right, Cheryl, thank you. The Verify team working hard to make sure you get the facts. Keep the questions coming. Email verify@khou.com or reach out on Facebook or Twitter. What a sight in the skies over Houston today. The Blue Angels soared over the Bayou City in a tribute to healthcare workers on the front lines. This is a view from the cockpit. Isn't that something? A dazzling display that brought lots of people outside to watch. the flyover. A big thank you to healthcare workers and other hospital employees who are working day and night to fight COVID-19 and keep people safe. The Blue Angels started the day in Dallas-Fort Worth, then swooped down to the Woodlands, crisscrossed the Houston area, including a loop around the medical center, and workers say awfully nice to be acknowledged for their dedication.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I think it's very nice. I'm just real happy that they actually think about doing it for us.
It's a good feeling to know that there's other people realizing that people appreciate their hard work.
That loop around the medical center lasted about 90 seconds before the Blue Angels flew over Sugar Land, out to Katy, and down towards the coast. It was awesome. We know many of you saw the flyover, and we'd like for you to send us your video. Text it to the number on your screen, or if you missed it, text the word ANGELS to 713-526-1111. We will send you a link to the flyover so you can see this incredible tribute.